Guys, welcome back to the show. And I tell you what, this is probably the most unique setting that I've ever done an interview in. I mean, so first of all, we're at an airport, which is awesome. I mean, we'll talk a little flying later. And you guys know, oh yeah, I know there's some of you out there going, bless, this is going to be an hour and a half long podcast. I don't have that kind of time, because when I start talking flying, you know, ask Kelsey. That poor girl just deserves an award. But anyway, I mean, so first of all, we're at an airport, which is really great. I'm in a hangar, which kind of looks like, I mean, if Jimmy Buffett were to have pulled up, needed to do his laundry, and have a lunch at Bell and Beast's table over there. I mean, it feels like Lumiere is just going to come out and say, "Sir, can I take your order at any time?" And then we're just going to fly away. So this is neat. And then we've got, I don't even know what to describe that. Of course, this is a podcast, so you guys really can't see, but I'm going to get some pictures. We'll put it on the Facebook page. We'll put it on the website, healthymovement.net, and we'll just. I tell you what, there's some really fancy cars, motorcycles. I don't know, Ananda. I feel like this probably takes the cake for the most unique setting I've ever done a podcast in. What about you? I mean, have you been in some interesting settings for your interviews?
No, this is by far the best one.
Definitely. And as I said, we're going to be talking to an individual who is just so dynamic. I mean, Ananda has been so many places on the map. She's got so many great stories to tell. We're going to talk a little bit about the company she works for, Levil Aviation, Levil Technology. We're going to talk about flying, which is, oh man, I can't wait. That's one of the things that I can't wait to get into. As you guys know, we're going to be starting that adventure soon, and stand by. We've got some really good stories about that as well for the future episodes. But we're going to talk fitness, freedom, and flying with Ananda, my friend Ananda Leon. I thank you for joining us, by the way, on the podcast. I just forgot my manners. I'm so overwhelmed by this place that I just forgot my manners.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to chat with you.
Oh, the pleasure's all mine. You might not say that afterwards, because I'm going to get a lot of information out of you. I feel like it's to our advantage here. And you're such an adventurous person. I mentioned earlier, you're so dynamic. You have so many varied interests. Many of them are ones that require fitness, require movement and strength. Tell us about a few of your hobbies and things that you like to do.
Honestly, I don't consider myself like the super fit. But I do like nature. So anything that brings me close to nature, either it can be kayaking, it can be climbing, paragliding is the last sport that I've been practicing. Anything that brings me close to the outdoors, I love that.
Of course, and she says that she's not super fit, but I'm telling you, she's a YouTube model, guys. And if you haven't, if you want to go see who we're talking to, we're going to put up the links anyway. Don't worry, there's a great channel out there that we're going to point you guys to, because there's a lot of good information, and we do have several pilots who follow the show, who listen to us and pick up their fitness tips from us. And I'm sorry to any of the crew that fly with these individuals, because they're getting their tips from us. But hey, that's the way it goes. The internet provides a platform for anybody. So paragliding. I mean, I have so little frame of reference for paragliding. What is that about? It sounds like it's kind of intense, and it requires some type of physical acumen.
Not at all. So paragliding, it's basically you have a fabric wing, okay, and you basically you need a little bit of headwind. So once you lift the wing, it's gonna get on top of you, and if you're, for example, doing it off of a mountain, then you have to run a little bit and then take off. If you're doing it here in Florida, then you have a truck that basically tows you. So you have a cord here that pulls you, and then you run, and then you take off, and then you fly with the thermals. So the rising hot air that's creating the clouds, you kind of get in that elevator and go up. Yeah, that's one thing we ain't got no shortage of here in Florida is trucks and hot air, I'll tell you what. So that's right, y'all want to ride the thermals, come on down to Florida, because we full of hot air here, and trucks, yeah. And of course, anybody that listens to the show knows that we are based out of Florida. That's where the Healthy Homestead is, Healthy Acres. And so also being based out of Florida, you've had a chance to come by the Weekday Warriors Fitness Studio, our home shop, and train with us because you wanted to get back to paragliding and get back to some of the activities that
you want to do, which is not uncommon. We see a lot of individuals that come to the Healthy Movement headquarters, the Weekday Warriors Fitness headquarters, to get back into what they love, get back to doing what they love, whether that be golf or paragliding or any of the things that they love to do. So you came to us, I guess, it was about 6 months ago? Is that that long ago?
Yeah.
Okay. With a little bit of a knee injury. Give us a kind of how it was playing out, how it kind of hampered you and where you are now.
Yeah, so like I said, I didn't consider myself like super fit. I didn't, go to the gym or anything. And so for paragliding, I obviously had very weak legs, like muscles, and so I was paragliding and I did a wrong step and my ACL broke. So I had a ACL replacement and the meniscus also broke, and then I had to go to rehab, but then COVID came in. At this time I was in Spain and they locked us out, so I couldn't go to rehab. And by the time I came here, I really needed some help. So I heard many good things about you helping my other family members. And since I started with you, I really, my knee is back to normal. I don't have any pain. I can go up and down the stairs, which I couldn't do. I can run now, which I couldn't do. And hopefully, soon, I'll get back to paragliding.
I can't wait. I'm looking forward to a trip with you. And that her knee is back to mostly normal. I would say you're back probably 99% function, feeling good, looking good. And that's why they call me the wizard of the working man and women's wellness. So if you guys need some tips, you got some things going on that you want to get back to doing what you're doing. If you're in the Central Florida area, don't be afraid to reach out. Check us out on the Facebook. We're at Weekday Warriors Fitness. You can come by the HQ. If you want to check us out on the web, we're at sit2fit, sit2fit.net. Got all kinds of great programs that you can take on the road, which is one of the things that Ananda is doing. She is, I mentioned the company she works for, Levil Aviation, and the job that she has, it kind of allows you a lot of freedom to move about. And we're going to talk a little bit about the cool purchase that you made in just a second. So you guys are going to want to stay tuned. That's called a tease. So what are you going to do while you're on the road to maintain your fitness level? How are you going to continue to get that knee where it needs to be? What are some of the steps that you're going to take and that maybe somebody who's not going to be around their coach, their fitness professional, their rehab facility, what kind of tips maybe can they follow that you're going to
So
employ?
what I do is basically I follow some of your workouts on the app that you offer, and we've been doing virtual workouts as well. So every Tuesday and Thursdays, if I'm on the road, because I travel a lot for work and so on. So when I cannot go to your facilities, we just do a virtual one, and it works out because you still see what I'm doing. You can still correct if I'm doing something wrong for the knee or whatever. And I can see you and your jokes and keep it, because I am the type of person that if I don't have somebody there pushing me or calling me, like, get on the call at 8 o'clock, I won't do it. And I feel like that's relatable to a lot of people out there that, they have the intention to go to the gym, but they don't have the determination, I guess. And I think you've helped a lot with that, for me at least.
Oh,
Thank
thanks.
you.
Yeah, no problem. It's really a pleasure to be able to work with you and your family. I work with a number of your family members, and it's really just the honor of a lifetime. It's why I started my business, is to help families. But another reason that I started my business is to give people the freedom to get out there and do their jobs and do the things that they love. And your job kind of combines a lot of that, for me anyway. I don't know. Is there an opening, guys? Are you guys hiring? Can I get in on this gig? I'm getting the thumbs up over there, so good deal. I'll talk to HR later. Anyway, I want to talk a little bit about the business that you work for, because it's fascinating to me. I asked you guys what you did, and you said you build bombs.
We do.
So I'm thinking, and you're right down the road from my shop, so I'm a little cautious. You know, initially I'm thinking, okay, so I got a little further into it, and then you guys tell me you're into aviation, which, you know, my eyes just, of course, light up. I mean, you guys know me. I'm easily distracted by dogs and airplanes and food, which we're going to talk about later as well. Her family is just at first rate when it comes to the food. Love it. Got some great questions for you in a second, but tell me a little bit about this bomb. It's not actually one that explodes, is it?
It is. It does not explode, Shawn. It does not. So Level Aviation, it's a family company. My dad has been a pilot since I can remember. I think he got his license when he was 18 years old. He basically, it's one of the guys that build the airplane on the garage of the house. So
I've seen one of them.
Yeah, it's that kind of person. So I've been around aviation my whole life, and the airplanes. You know, the second airplane he built, he put 2 car engines in the place of one, airplane engine.
No kidding.
With 2 propellers, counter-rotating propellers, so that he would have the extra safety layer. If one engine goes off, he still has the other one.
That is phenomenal.
And this was back in Venezuela. They were powered by gasoline. So back then, avgas was very, very expensive, and Venezuela gasoline was very inexpensive. So it made sense. And they flew across from Venezuela to Oshkosh, I think in 1990 something, 99. And that's, he's been inventing and innovating since I was born. So when we migrated to the US, he wanted to build a glass panel. So we didn't have the money to, aviation is very expensive.
Yeah, tell me about it. So listen, if you guys, here's a couple of things. If you want to get, if you want to throw money away, go into horseback riding or aviation, and I've done both. And I tell you what, there's no cheap thing in aviation, is there?
There's not.
Well,
there's not.
There are few inexpensive things in aviation.
Yeah. We'll get to that. So he was building a glass panel made out of a PC that he put together, and the touchscreen revolution was coming about at that time. This was around 2005, more or less. And so he started designing an attitude indicator, which is basically the horizon on the airplane. And I graduated college around 2008 and started working for my dad. We have a CNC milling machine business for education. And a company got a hold of my dad. They saw what he was doing, and we started doing prototypes for them. When I graduated, I started helping, grow the company. It was just, 2 of us, me and my dad, working on these projects. And the iPad revolution came along. So this was around 2010 when the first iPad came to market. And I said, Dad, why don't we put can we do this wireless instead of having all these cables to your PC? It was very difficult to install. Can we do it wireless? You have a nice iPad touchscreen, beautiful interface. Can we do an attitude indicator that communicates to it and make an app for it? And that's where it all started, the wireless avionics, and that's what we do today. So from there, it was just an evolution of products. And then a customer, so this was all for experimental industry, basically, because that's where we were at. And so we have a customer in Canada that wanted to install this technology in his certified airplane. And obviously you cannot, you need your FAA certifications and all that.
Yeah, for those of you guys that are listening and she mentioned experimental. I mean, don't get the wrong idea. They're not going up in a paint can with a prop on the back. These things are basically just home built, or they're not certified by the FAA or the certifying agency. Which, if you want to know about why it drives up the cost, talk about certification and what you have to go through to get it certified. Which is why these things are just so darn expensive. So, what you can put on experimental, you can't necessarily put on a certified aircraft. Is that right?
That is right. If it's a required instrument, it has to be certified to be on a certified airplane. If it's safety enhancing, then you can via a North Sea certification. We'll explain that later.
So we've got a guy that wants to take this product that's only really been used on the experimental aircraft and put it on a certified aircraft that he has. So what is he up against? What do you guys have to do to make that happen? So
he wanted to use the iPad. I think he had a 172, I believe. He wanted to use an iPad. He wanted to install the AHRS, and the problem is you cannot tie into your main lines on a certified airplane because our product was not certified. So this guy thought about putting our product on the outside of the airplane and create a pedostatic system. So he actually grabbed our at that time it was the AHRS G Mini. It's a little tiny board. He put it on he made his own, DIY case, and he put a little pedostatic system and he hooked it up on the wing and sent me a picture, and he's like, look, I made it work for me.
That's
so yeah, I thought it was genius, and so that was one solution for us, to be able, because it's a huge revolution. What we do in a 172, where you have all steam gauges and you want to modernize your cockpit, the cost of that is more than the actual airplane.
Oh, Ed, you're not wrong. I mean, I'm looking at some of these older 172s that are a great buy, but if you want to go up to a glass panel, I mean, we're talking several $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 depending on what you want to do, and that's way cost prohibitive for a lot of folks.
So there's a lot of folks out there flying with 40-year-old technology, and that sucks, because nowadays you have GPS, you have the maps on, the digital maps that you can fly, you have the traffic awareness, like all these things, and you can't use it because you have to pay, a lot of money to upgrade your panel. So that's why, this guy really wanted to use our technology, because the iPad now, it's separate, it has its own battery, our products are battery powered, and it's so easy. You just put it, somewhere in the panel or on your lap or on a mount, and then you have the capabilities of the shuttle or, of a jet, 2021 jet in a 40-year-old airplane without spending much. And so this kind of revolutionized everything, and it gave us the idea of, what I have here, the BOM, which you were asking, and it does not explode.
I was a little nervous. I didn't want to come in. I mean, they said they actually brought one, and the first time I thought, I don't know if I should be around these things. But it's totally safe. That's the great thing about it, is it's not only safe, it actually has a bunch of safety features that will keep pilots and passengers a lot safer. And this thing, it could, again, we're on audio, so I'm going to try to describe it. It essentially looks like a bomb or a torpedo. It's got this really neat little device on the back how does this thing power itself? How does it get its energy?
So the bomb integrates a little turbine on the back that's basically wind power. So, it's sitting outside, it's getting the winds, it's spinning really, really, really fast. And that creates enough power for us to turn on all the sensors inside. So you have the airspeed, the altitude, the horizon. You have a traffic and weather receiver, so you can see all the airplanes around you. You have a GPS antenna in there, and also it was so much power that on the first prototypes, it was burning a lot of the components, all that power. So we decided to dump all the heat to the nose. And so that gives us a heated pitot system, because when you're flying up there, things tend to freeze. So we don't want the ports to freeze, and that it just worked out perfectly. So there's no charging of the BOM. It's actually a smart solution. It has a vibration sensor, so when you crank up the engine, the vibration wakes it up. If you notice.
Oh, no kidding. Much like me. Yeah, Kelsey's got. I don't go off to I don't get up at my alarm clock. She's got to give me the old. On the weekends, it is definitely the vibration alarm. Get up, you deadbeat! My goodness. So that's kind of the same thing, huh? Just walk right over to it and give it the tap, and it starts up. Like I could do that right now if it were.
Yep.
If it were on. No kidding.
Tap it. It turns on, and it connects to Wi-Fi to your iPad, which is going to be on the cockpit.
Isn't that cool? So, I mean, that's just an amazing piece of technology that you guys have come up with. And I noticed that you had another version of your software. So it came with the first version, which is great. It was the one I'm familiar with when I went flying with you guys the last time. But I hear there's been an upgrade, and that was something that you're responsible for. And that's one of those things that, again, we're talking about this freedom that you've got to be able to go around and develop software from various cool places in the world. We're talking about some of those cool places in just a second. But here is an example of an individual going out and a company that's family focused, which is huge to us around here. You know we love that. That's one of our biggest statements at Weekday Warriors Fitness, is building strong communities from strong individuals. And there are very few communities stronger than your family. You guys have done an amazing job with the technology that you put together, and it's crazy to see how you've come along. So this version 2, am I going to get to see that today?
I have my iPad here. So I'm a software developer. I do basically only software for Level Aviation, and that's what gives me the freedom to work remotely and travel the world. As long as I have Wi-Fi, I'm good to go. I do have to be in the office a lot of times for testing and whatnot, but I have a lot of freedom on or where I want to work at.
So this thing has got UCF kind of in its blood and its development. That's amazing. That here just kind of as it is a small world, we've got a lot of nights that listen to the show. Of course, we're based in Central Florida, so there are. That's not out of the ordinary. I went to UCF. Your brother went to UCF. I mean, there's a lot of UCF around here, and here it is in the development of this really cool product. So, kind of. How did that come about? How did you guys kind of get with UCF and develop this technology?
Right. So going back to the pilot that gave us the idea to put it outside, at that time I had 2 interns working for Level Aviation, Jackie and Hector. I love them to death. and they were looking for a senior design project for, they needed to graduate, and they asked me if I had any ideas, and I gave them the project. Let's try to make this, let's do the proper research. Can we put the A-Horse G Mini outside on the wing? What are the problems in vibration? Can it withstand all the drag and so on? And that was their project, the UCF Senior Design Project. It was showcased in 2014. It was really good to see that they designed a whole case. We did it with an eye level, basically. So we got an eye level, which is the other part, similar product as the BOM, but it goes inside. And so they grabbed that box, and they design a whole case around it with a pitot, and it worked. The only thing we were missing was the power. Again, they needed to take it out of the box and charge, just like our Canadian pilot. And so once they graduated and we had all the data that we needed, then we started designing, integrating the turbine, the wind turbine on the back of the BOM, which is basically the one that powers all the avionics. So we're using wind to rotate the turbine, and the turbine spins so fast that we have enough power not only to power the sensors, to recharge the battery, and also to heat up the nose of the BOM. And so that if you're flying in, super high, super cold environments, your pitot system, it's not going to freeze.
Oh, that's incredible. So this thing has actually got sort of a built-in heater on it.
Correct.
Oh, no kidding. I tell you what, that is just an amazing piece of technology made by an amazing company, run by amazing people. So it's not a surprise that this sort of follows that linear progression.
Yeah, I'm happy. We have UCF involved in this project. I went to UCF, so I'm proud. I'm proud of it.
We do kind of sound like a couple of UCF homers up here, but I mean, it's great. They provided some really great minds. They've put out some great minds, some great talent. Of course, some really good-looking, students go to UCF. I'm just saying. Of course, that's why I'm on a podcast, because I'm not one of them. Apparently, I did go there, but I may not be in the good-looking category. That's why this is a podcast and not a YouTube channel. Now, I do mention YouTube. You can find Ananda over on YouTube if you want to check them out. Check out a little bit more about the product. Oh yeah, I've got to put some links down in the description. Of course, you guys check out the show notes. We've got some links to the company page, so you can read a little bit more about them. We've got some links to the YouTube channel, which is a phenomenal channel. They have a couple of great fitness models over there, just absolutely great folks. And you'll catch a glimpse of one of my favorite people at the company. My goodness, is your dad. I mean, my grandfather was a chemical engineer, graduated from Vanderbilt University, just an astute individual, and he had writing everywhere. All over the place. There was equations and things, and I walked into your dad's little cubby back there at the shop, and there's writing everywhere. There's whiteboards with just stuff. I felt like I was at home.
Yeah, we try to hide that from people that come visit the company.
That was the first thing that Michelle said. Don't mind Ruben's area, and I said, I don't. This looks very familiar. I know this setup here.
It's funny because when we have people come over, we have to give the tour. We try to avoid that whole area. But yeah, my dad is it's an interesting character. You'll see him with the glasses, the magnifying glasses.
Yes.
In his little corner, soldering stuff, cables everywhere, writing everywhere, equation. It's not like he's painting, it's just equations everywhere. And yeah, it's very interesting to see. His mind is different from any of us.
And that's true. That really is. You can see the genius mind at work there, and that is just a hallmark of a genius. I don't even try to understand sometimes what their organizational system is. I just appreciate it for what it is. Now, I mentioned that you guys you're such a well-traveled group of individuals, and you certainly among them. You go to these great places. I mean, you've when I talked to you, you had just come from Tenerife. Which I'm so excited to hear some more stories about that. But where do you want to visit next? Where's next for you?
I don't know. That's an overwhelming question, Shawn.
We'll hang up and take our answer off the air.
Because there's so many good places. There's one place in particular that I haven't been that I want to, which is Costa Rica.
Ay, pura vida.
Pura vida, yeah. It's I think it combines everything: the sea, the mountains, you can dive there. It's one place that I would really like to visit.
I can, and I have, in fact, both visited and dived Costa Rica. I've been there 3 times now. The last time in 2008, so I haven't been in a while. One of my favorite places is Costa Rica. I have so many great stories. Many of you have heard them. I will put in, you know what, in fact, maybe we'll close the show out with one of my favorite Costa Rica stories. There are so many. Many of them we can't tell. We shouldn't tell them, but there are many that we can. So Costa Rica, I love that. That's a great destination. Now, you technically could drive there in this really cool new project that you have. So for those of you that have that wanderlust spirit, Ananda has gone out and purchased a really cool cargo van and is in the process of transforming it into kind of a traveling wagon. We're going to put some pictures on the website. We'll put some pictures, put some links in the show notes so you guys can check this out. It's a work in progress, but tell me a little bit about this project. How'd this come about? I mean, where do you just go out and decide, I want to get a van and roll out, man?
Well, it's the dream. It's the dream. So I came back from Tenerife. I was living there for 2 years, and I kind of had to come back because of COVID regulations, and my visa expired in Spain, so I had to renew. So I came to the US and got stuck because you couldn't fly. And so it was time for me to buy a car. And I've been following, obviously, all these like van lifers on Instagram.
Of course, it's always those Instagrammers.
Yeah, and it's like, this is the perfect opportunity. If I don't do it now, I'm never gonna do it. So instead of buying a normal car, I bought me a used 2014 ProMaster Ram and decided to convert it.
Nice.
And it's been both like not frustrating because I've never built a cabinet or anything. I have no carpentry skills. No, I'm a software developer. So, but I knew I have a machine shop. The Level technology has all the tools that I needed, and I have the people, and I have a supportive family that I knew they were going to help me, and we started the project. And so far, I just have a shower pan, but so it's going to have a shower. I'm going to be able to, smell nice. And finally, and a kitchen, and just my dad has an RV, a bigger RV, but I've never been inside a van like that, so I don't really know, but I hope is, as cool as I see it on Instagram.
I'm sure it's going to be. Are you going to start an Instagram page so we can follow your travels?
I don't know. Maybe.
We'll have you back on in a few months to promote that as well.
Yeah, so hopefully I can get to Costa Rica on my van. That's the dream.
That's what's up. I know a few people that are doing that. So, you're going to have to drive the van to Costa Rica, which brings up this question. It's sort of a true or false question. And being from Southwest Florida, I live in Central Florida. We all, live in Central Florida, but I'm from Southwest Florida. I lived in South Florida, Boca Raton, down Pompano Way. A lot of canals and ditches down that way, which can pose a problem. So I have to ask a true or false question. Have you ever driven into a ditch?
No.
Oh.
I was in a car that was driven by my friend Catherine, and she did.
Yeah, you got to be careful of those ditches.
So no, that I did drive into a lagoon.
Oh, a lagoon! Well, it wasn't a ditch; it was a lagoon, folks. No problem there.
So I technically answered the question right.
Well, you did, yeah, and that's the great thing about it is there aren't a lot of lagoons down in where we live here, so I think we're safe. Okay, on your way down to Costa Rica, then do watch for the lagoons. Now we actually got stuck in a river. The river, we decided to ford the river going from one place to another in Costa Rica. Of course, rivers, they flow down rivers, water flowing down river. Our little Kia stalled, and I tell you what, it was about to become ocean trash shortly, but luckily we got out of that one. That's another one of those great Costa Rica stories that we have. So we're gonna bore the poor people to death with these Costa Rica. Like, we've heard these things time and time again, and I've got some some episodes. If you guys want to check out the archives, go ahead and do so. We've got some of those good Costa Rica stories in there. Wow, we have covered a lot of ground, and I think that it looks like, kind of looks like a nice day to go flying. It's like a nice day to go test this bomb. I can't wait. I want to go get some pictures and some video that I can put up on the website, put up on the YouTube channel, show folks kind of how this goes. Folks that maybe are not in the aviation community, folks that are in the aviation community. Dave, I'm talking to you, pal. you guys want to look at this, man. You want to check out their website. You definitely want to check out the product. Check out the company. It's a phenomenal family-run company. Levil Aviation, Levil Technology, just phenomenal individuals, and no more so than Ananda, who sat down with me today. I really appreciate you coming on the show, giving us some great content, giving us some ideas of how people can live and achieve their dream of both getting out, being fit, of getting out and being adventurous, and just going and living life.
Yes, yes. We have an airplane ready for you to go and take off and try the BOM and see how you like it.
That is so exciting, guys. You're gonna have to check out the website and check out the Facebook page and see how this went. We're gonna put some pictures up. Thank you so much for having me. I can't wait, man. Let's get to it, huh?
Let's go. Let's
All
go
right.
flying.